Hello there, welcome to another episode of Fort Triumph for Ungainly Titan. This is not the episode of Fort Triumph that I originally intended to show. When I previously recorded Fort Triumph, I actually had a good long session to Fort Triumph and I had completed one of the contract battles and I wanted to show that. However, Cookie Bite Entertainment have come out with a new update, a major update, 0.09.0, and they have changed a few things and mixed things up a little bit, and I wanted to go over that quickly. From the patch notes and release notes, they have added content. They have a couple of things. They've added, I think, further content to the campaign. It's not immediately up because I haven't actually completed the 3 basic contracts, or haven't necessarily gone to all the places, I suppose, for the extra campaign content to appear. They also have changed how the character skills work. So you now have a kind of a skills tree, and it's divided up into different types of skills. So you have offense, status, physics. Offense are your direct weapon attacks and special effects associated with them, and your status are buffs and debuffs, or special abilities like the listen one, for instance, the ear, which allows the ranger character, I'm not sure if I get the name correct, but allows the ranger type character to hear things that are not visible, not necessarily in line of sight, but any activity that is within hearing range but not line of sight. So that is an advantage and an extra ability. And then there are physics ones, which allows you to modify how you interact with the environment. And I think the wizard one has an extra one, which is to do with mobility, which is to do with the wizard's ability to teleport or swap places with other people and things like that. You essentially, as you level up, you free up slots. You then pick upgraded or new powers to add into the slots, and you have, I think, so much that you can pick. So you can, I think, once you've picked, let's say, all you can do is probably upgrade existing powers rather than add new ones. You can't reset, which is a bit of a pain. It would be nice to be able to reset back to the basic first level character and rebuild a character in different ways just to see how the different things interact. But I suppose, given that it's relatively straightforward to level up in the game, you can always just boot the character from the party, start off with another first level character, and build that one differently, just to see how it goes as well. It did take me a bit of just going through it and looking at it to figure it out. In leveling up in the game, I've noticed that it stops the motion to the next character in the turn order, or initiative order, whatever it is. So you have to select the next character to actually move them. I don't know if that's a bug or it's deliberate. I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more. The wizard, as you can see here, is the mobility one. I do think that I missed it the first time around, to be honest with you. I do think the wizard one could do with a little bit of tweaking in the character sheet. The mobility should be clearly legible, in my opinion, and they probably should change the colours a little bit, make it a stronger colour so that you can actually, it'll stand out, you won't miss it. That brief screen there you saw, there's a possibility also of, there's a colour wheel, basic colour wheel, so you get a primary colour for the character, hair colour, and highlights. Sort of like Baldur's Gate or something. I think you had pretty limited, or at least games back in that era, XCOM, the original XCOM, that kind of stuff, you had very limited choices about what you could do to update, to change the look of characters. But given that, you know, it's a top-down kind of isometric game, and the characters are in pretty strong, bold colours, that it's probably good enough way of customizing the character to be interesting to have 2 characters of the same type in a party, or to experiment. I must actually get around to doing that at some point, experiment with different character types. Haven't been playing a lot of Fort Triumph recently because I've been doing a lot of XCOM Enemy Unknown instead. You won't be seeing videos of the XCOM playthrough, at least not anytime soon, because I didn't record most of that XCOM playthrough. I just wanted to sort of try it out and see how it went, and remind myself and just get familiar with the controls on the PC as distinct from the Xbox. I did find that the PC version of XCOM is a little bit, it's fairly unstable actually. I had a couple of crashes where it just died on me, and so back to the battle. We just wanted to include a short battle here because it showed some of the powers in action and some of the changes. So I think overall the changes give more flexibility to the party. They give more opportunities for synergy and interaction between the different powers. Some of the powers are actually more dramatic. The grappling hook one, for instance, I don't remember the grappling hook swinging a man across half the field to bounce him into the nearest tree, but that's two enemies stunned, which means, of course, they're not going to be able to attack if they live. And effectively, we've managed to wipe out half the enemy ambush. Now, some of that was just luck in the positioning. The party didn't have to move into position, so it gave us considerable advantage against the goblins. We were essentially able to demolish this side of the goblin ambush before the goblins got a chance to react, which is always the best way to do things. Never fight fair fights. You can fight unfair fights that are heavily stacked into your advantage. So now we have the rest of the enemy encounter movement, and they're not quite in a position to reach, so we're going to push in. So as you saw in the powers section, in the quick glance of it there, if you had a chance to look through it, you notice that some of the powers are refinements of existing powers. So you have, for instance, the resilient overwatch, so that you don't lose the overwatch if you take damage. Now, I've never really had a problem with Overwatch Overwatch characters taking damage, because they didn't shoot anybody close enough to trigger the Overwatch movement anyway. But I presume that there are possibilities of ongoing damage or something in the future that enemy powers may allow them to have, that would interfere or disrupt Overwatch. And there are other powers now that have been made resilient as well by the game, so you can select it at a higher level and you get a little booster or a kicker to the power. A few extra rallying powers to increase the effectiveness of the group when they're in combat, and this one is obviously the rally. Has a range, +1 strength, skill, power and speed. Not going to make any difference in this fight, simply because the goblins have been more or less dealt with as is. But can be quite useful, as you can imagine, in general, overall. But the I think so there's some map changes as well. I think the bridge fights now take place on actual bridges, as distinct from underground dungeon-like environments. I hadn't played around with Fort Triumph, so but presumably the walls of Fort Triumph now are probably apparently proper castle walls. Various other little things like that. So it is constantly evolving and improving, and I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please give it a like. If you have not already done so, please give the channel a subscription. Feel free to share this video and make any comment that you want. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.